You're listening to Overwatch Contenders Daily, your path to daily news, scores, and insights into the Overwatch League stars of tomorrow. Here's your host, LemonKiwi.
Hey Overwatch fans, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. This is Overwatch Contenders Daily, and I'm your host, LemonKiwi. Today's interview is going to be a special one. I've brought on ex-Congarna manager and now the manager of last night's Leftovers. Her name is Kate Mitchell. Talk to us about how last night's Leftovers Week 1 has been in Trials, how they've been improving as a team since last season, and who is their biggest competition going into Trials. But before we get into that, let's get into some news, which actually this video is being recorded in the past, so I won't have any updated news since Monday's video, but I want you guys to check out the maps that Contenders has announced for the upcoming regular season. So control maps being Lijiang Tower and Oasis, hybrid maps being Eichenwald and King's Row, assault being Temple of Anubis and Volskaya, and escort Route 66, Gibraltar, and they're premiering Rialto. So let me know in the comments which maps you're looking forward to and if you have any surprises. But now that we're done with that, let's get into my interview with Kate. I'm joined here with Kate Mitchell, ex-Congarna manager and now the manager of last night's Leftovers Trials team, who have actually won last season and looking to put up a good showing and it's starting off good. But how are you feeling, Kate?
I'm feeling fantastic. You know, this weekend went excellently. We're coming in 2-0, and we're hyped up for our winners finals match in Pitt tomorrow. So the spirit of the team is really, really high because we've gotten over the first hurdle, the first weekend of Trials.
Oh god, yeah, the first week is always everybody warming up to each other, although you guys scrim in the background. But yeah, you said it, 2-0, and you're also in first place due to the map differential with a 3-1 win against bye week, which actually they're looking pretty good this Trials, so let's not count that as an actual bye week. But and also a 3-1 win against Second Wind. And since those matches weren't streamed, unfortunately, could you tell us how those matches went? And are you happy personally with your team's performance?
Yeah, I'm very happy. Obviously, there's a little bit of rust and just new tactics that we could be executing cleaner. And of course, any team staff that doesn't 4-0 is gonna put on a show about being upset about dropping a map. But I'm really happy with the team. I mean, their work ethic is just incredible, and they're really willing to adapt and acknowledge their mistakes and change even in the middle of a round when something's not working. And I think that our goal is 7-0. I think that we're going, we're going to try and, beat last year's LNL team that went 6-1 in Trials and go 7-0.
Damn, you're feeling so confident. But so how was your match against bye week? Was it actually a bye week? I want to say they're getting better because they got a new roster, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they've made some additions, and they've got. They were never really a bye week. Everybody had to prepare for their unique style, but I like the humility of their name.
Right.
But they've picked up more than just the tank compositions that they were famous for originally, and have a little bit more flexibility and let their DPS players like Ifa and Minish DPS often, and they're not bad. And it definitely could have been closer. It took us 2 extra rounds on Anubis. We won 6-5 on Anubis.
Oh, wow.
So any 2CP that goes that long could have gone the other way and could have gone to a game 5. The definition of a GG's to them, I think they stand a really good shot at making contenders. Everyone underestimates them, always. They made it out last time. I think they can make it out again.
So what do you think of Second Wind? They're a pretty good open division team.
Yeah, definitely. Anybody who fights through open division is ready for anything because it's wild down there.
Right.
But we just came in so composed and so ready, and it's the coaching experience that we have. With Brad and Sephi, who spent most of this season at an Overwatch League team. And knowing that right now we're playing on the same patch that Overwatch League is playing on, so we have a wealth of matches to watch and tactics to reference. We just we just are in a really good place staff wise, and our players are taking to the coaching really well and have a really high strategic awareness. And Second Wind, just I think they need to stabilize a bit. And they definitely played well. They definitely challenged us, but we were proud to come away with a win. And I would just want a 4-0 next time.
Next time, we'll start with 3-1s this week, and we'll see how next week turns out. But
yeah,
you brought up your coaches and Steffi and Legit RC, but I've also seen you tweet about how rigorous your schedule and overall contenders can be, because you guys played in Pit, you guys played in Beat, now you got Trials. So could you elaborate on how rigorous that really is?
Of course. I mean, we have 7 matches over 8 days, starting yesterday.
Wow, that's insane.
And so part of what that means is that, most teams don't scrim on days where they play in tournament. We have to. If we don't scrim on tournament days, then we don't scrim this week because we have tournament games so much. And, we still want to keep one off day in because burnout is the killer, right? And you want to give everybody 1 day a week to just spend time with their friends and loved ones and do anything other than, get burned out playing Overwatch.
It's tough. I mean, you got to scrim and VOD review, and then you got to play tournaments. And
these players that do this, they're just incredible, honestly, because you look at top tier professionals and they have this whole infrastructure, and they just wake up in the morning and they get out of bed in their team house and they're ready to go, right? That's all they have to do is think about Overwatch all day. These guys have jobs and families and responsibilities, and they're putting the grind out there for the dream of making it, and sometimes we scrim 4 to 6 hours a day. Usually we try to go for 6, either of scrimming or review. And what we want to do at the end of the season is look back and say nobody outworked us.
Right.
Because some teams have advantages of having organizational support, but we're never going to be outgrinded.
And yeah, if you lose or if you win, you want to say you worked hard for it. And I think your team is one of the hungriest, no pun intended with the team name, one of the hungriest. And that's what I've seen, a common trait of contenders teams, how hard they really work in the dream. And not only that at least there's obviously a lot less pay involved in contenders. So you're working almost so much more for less. And that's just true ambition coming from teams like that.
It's... There isn't a lot of money, it's true, but everybody wants to take down the big names, right? And you see these Overwatch League Academy teams falling in these preseason tournaments and Beat and Pit. Everyone wants to take it to them now. We're not afraid of the big pro teams, right? We want to level the playing field and show that we're just as good.
So speaking of leveling the playing field, let's go over your past couple tournaments. While we're all waiting for Trials, there was Beat, there was Overwatch Pit Season 3, and you guys didn't perform as well in Beat, but now you're in the winners finals of Overwatch Pit Season 3. So what has your team been changing or improving on that you guys have been performing so much better this season?
Beat was a tune-up. We just gotten started with our staff, and connecting with the team and instituting the rigorous schedule and the professional feedback that we're giving, and so we went into Beat with no expectations, just wanting to execute our give our new strategies a try, get rid of the tournament jitters. Obviously going 0-2 was a huge disappointment. We would have wanted to do better, but it wasn't the end of the world, certainly, because we could see how much work we had left to do, and how many points for improvement we could make. And over the course of just a week, we managed to knock a lot of the kinks out of our game, and start executing on these more ambitious strategies a lot better by Pit. And once that started to click after Beat, every scrim day started to become really exciting. It's not just I got to get up and practice. When you try something new and you knock it out of the park against great teams, either in scrims or tournament, the morale boost is awesome. And somewhere between Beat and Pit, we started feeling like maybe we could, finish. We should be aiming for first place at everything we enter, not just a respectable finish.
Well, it's awesome just to see the support of like yourself, the manager, and the coaches, and being able to make your players actually love to scrim and love playing the game, because burnout is a serious issue, and you guys have a tougher schedule than most Overwatch League teams, and you haven't at least shown signs of burnout when your players are willing to like learn and take mistakes and not just, be down on themselves after beat, but then you're coming up on pit and it looks great, and now you're in trials and you're 2-0, so things are looking great.
Yeah, and that's part also of what having the DPS rotation and having Dino to back up our supports helps out with as well. Is just, we make sure everybody gets into the games in our scrims. We play a lot of different things, so everybody gets to play a bunch of different types of gameplay. Even our, even like Dogman plays Sombra on occasion, right? He's not just stuck on Xin all the time. We go Lucio Moira on occasion. We really try to avoid people seeing it as just a sort of joyless thing, right? And we couldn't ask for a better group of players for that. I mean, we just have these hilarious, effervescent personalities that are really jiving really well together. And these guys make me crack up like 4 or 5 times a scrim block. They're just hilarious. And that's so important, because if you're not having fun with it, then what are we doing here? Because it's certainly not for the money right now.
Right.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And you gotta enjoy it.
The fact that they're making your job so easy and they're making you like your job. Sometimes managing, you got difficult players, or if you have a difficult situation, it's not as fun, but you look like you're having a blast doing it. But speaking of how flexible your team is, Trials is being played on an older patch, so Brigitte 150 armor and Scatter Hanzo. So this is being different from Pit and the Beat tournament. And, of course, last season of Contenders. So how's it been adapting to these significant meta and patch changes and adapting to the new competition coming to Trials?
Yeah, it's it's crazy the amount of stuff we do. I mean, we scrim on multiple different patches in one day. Sometimes we scrim on EU, sometimes we scrim on NA. Our players have to adapt to different patches, different ping levels, which dramatically impact people's play, especially the hit scan players. And of course every style of Overwatch imaginable, because NA Trials has got all sorts of lineups. When the most important thing to think about when we're on that 1.22, the Overwatch League and NA Trials patch, is we cannot be afraid to bust out the Brigitte if we need to.
Right.
You have to, like, Brigitte is not mandatory, as you see in Owl. She's not played all the time, but everybody needs to be able to pull her out in case the other team presents you with a situation that Brigitte can counter. They're coming at you with flankers repeatedly, or they've got a big tanky Brigitte comp of their own. We wanted to make sure that every single one of our players, all of them, all 6 of them on the field at any given time, are ready to make the switch to Brigitte if it's necessary to pull it out.
I've seen a few of your players try it out. I think also, was it Nex, and who else has been pulling it out? Even Enlayer, or no, it was Sugar Free. One of your DPS players,
all of our DPS players are able to go Brig when necessary, and they all have during our tournament matches. It's one of the most important things that Sephi wanted to put down for this meta, was that if you don't feel like you're being effective right now, if you feel like you're being countered out of the game, you don't have to ask permission. Just go Brig, and just feel like. Play Brig until you feel like you can bust it out in a tournament match, no problem. And our guys are really willing to take those chances and really willing to grow their hero pools like that. So yeah, I would say we've got pretty much everybody on the field is willing to take up the Brig, and has over the course of our scrims or tournament matches.
And that's interesting that you don't have that one designated Brigitte player, which I've seen in a few teams. There's always that one DPS player that'll go triple support or something like that. And that your coaches allow that flexibility. Hey, if you're not feeling good, go on this hero. And that's pretty interesting. But now it gets to the final juicy question. So I had just interviewed Goats, and they said that LNL, your team, is the team to watch, or their biggest competition in Trials. But this isn't your first rodeo in Trials. You guys won it last season. I think you guys are pretty confident in hopefully winning the whole thing. But who do you think is LNL's biggest competition in Trials?
Even when they're down 0-2 right now, it's impossible to count Goats out. I mean, they've had some truly famous wins at these big tournaments. And they've just switched main tanks a few days before the competition began. And that's going to be a period of adjustment for any team. But it's impossible to argue that their new main tank, XQC, is not qualified for this and, not ready to lead the team. And once they figure out how to work with his really aggressive style, and, find out how to integrate the support line with the new main tank play, I think they're the ones to watch out for too. We want to 7-0, and I think they're the biggest obstacle for that. And obviously the other 2-0 team that's taken a lot of people by surprise, Karasuno, are also I would say they're the second toughest opposition after Goats. But there's no team in Trials that isn't to be taken seriously.
They all deserve to be there.
There's no joke team. There's no team that fought through Open Division and isn't a match. It's if we switch off for just one or two maps, suddenly we can see a set slipping out of our hands. All these guys are incredibly motivated. They're just like us, wanting to grind this out. Nobody in Trials is lazy, and sitting at the top of the standings, everybody's gunning for us, right? They want to think about how to counter us. They've watched our streamed tournament matches, and I'm sure they've been talking about how to counter us, just like everybody's been talking about how to counter Goats. And so we're just trying to, we want to win, but we're not arrogant about it. We don't think we're going to cruise to it. If we win, it's gonna be by beating people who have been working extremely hard to take the fight to us.
And then if you do make it to Contenders, hopefully having such a better showing than the last season, and coming in with so much confidence, and hopefully the 7-0. I think Goats is just an entertaining team, and you guys, though, bring the uncommon strategies just like they do. So I think that would be the matchup to watch. I really wish we get to see these broadcasted matches. Maybe if XQC streams your match against Goats, maybe
I would love to I'd love for him to do that. I'd love for people to see our team take on Goats.
I think that'll be the most exciting match. I mean, watching Goats already is a heart attack for the comms that we're listening to, and I bet your comms are just as crazy. Or actually, you said your team is more calm, right?
Yeah, our team is actually they're some of the most composed communicators that I've seen. There's a lot of pro experience between them, and it never seems like they're awed by the occasion. There's no panicking. Like, when somebody's yelling, it's because something's a genuinely huge deal. But most of the time, I mean, we're just proceeding. We're happy, we're laughing, we're keeping it together, and I'm really proud of the guys for that. They never seem like they're scared of the tournament environment.
Well, your next match will be against Grizzlies, from what I see here, and then the one after that is Goats too.
Well, we have Pit Winners Finals tomorrow.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, and I believe it's going to be Goats. They're up 2-0 right now over NRG. They might have just taken it 3-0 while we were talking. I'm not sure. So obviously we've been raring for that rematch with Goats, and we were just talking about how they're the most interesting team to face off against. And they're on such a hot streak in this Pit tournament that I think it's going to be a must-watch match between us and them, and it's going to be a clash of styles, and it's I'm really excited. I don't know if we're going to win. I'm not going to make any predictions for that. We're guaranteed a top 3 finish at Pit, and that feels great. But I know our players really, really, really want to be, the ones that beat Goats, right? We want to take it to them in this tournament.
Well, whether or not you win or lose, at least you'll have a VOD that you can get a taste of what Goats are running, especially with the new roster. And because when I spoke to a Goats player there, they're kind of trying actually new strategies. It's not always going to be the 3-3 with them, especially with the new main tank, a loss of a support. They're trying to flex at other things. So this will be great practice for you guys, whether or not you win or lose, of what you're going to expect in Trials coming up. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's sure to be entertaining. Goats always is. We try to be. I think.
Try.
I think maybe you'll see the elusive quad DPS come out from us. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for that to happen. Just for the entertainment factor. Because
it's my quick play comp. So
yeah, exactly. It's I call it the quick play comp. You could also call it the chaos comp.
Dude, I can't wait. To see what my quick play matches when people actually communicate and coordinate. But
That's our goal as a team, really, is to change the quick play meta. You know,
quad tank, screw that. Let's bring quad DPS. New meta. I love it. I can't wait to see it. And I mean, good luck in Pit and good luck in Trials, and hope for the 7-0. But I mean, at least hope that you guys make contenders in the regular season. But this will conclude our interview. And I mean, thank you so much, Kay, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for the show. It's awesome to have a place to talk about contenders and the NAT2 scene with so many interesting people in it. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks. And I mean, I'm glad we can have these interviews, even though these matches aren't broadcasted, that we can get to know what is going on behind the scenes with managers and players and all that. But thanks, Kate, for coming on. This was Overwatch Contenders Daily. I'm LemonKiwi, and we'll see you guys next week.